A second administrator at a North Central Florida retirement home has been arrested. We'll tell you why.
Officials have found a body inside a submerged SUV. We'll tell you how deputies think the vehicle ended up in the pond.
And it's the season of giving, and some North Central Florida officers are doing more than just giving out tickets. We'll show you what they're doing. Those stories and more. The TV 20 News at 6 starts now.
This is News at 6 on WCJB TV 20, your local station.
A second arrest this week at the Good Samaritan Retirement Home. Williston police say staff members there have been neglecting some of their patients.
TV 20's Crystal Bailey joins us in the studio tonight with new details about the arrest.
Well, the second arrest, Williston police say, is related to a death. And it's not the first time they've been in trouble. As we reported yesterday, the retirement home has been fined by the state more than a dozen times in the last 5 years.
Obviously, when you look at the fines, there's been some issues going on for some time. And that's something that ACA needs to figure out what's going on and what's the next step.
Williston Police Chief Dennis Stroh tells us Nanita Sudal was taken into custody in Orlando by the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. They say she was in charge of the nursing home in November when 72-year-old Betty Hurst wandered outside and fell.
The lady had a gash on her head where she had fallen. They took her inside and they reportedly performed first aid, which resulted in all they did was clean the blood off her head, took her in and put her in her room.
About 6 hours later, she was found unresponsive and had to be taken to UF Health Shands, where she died.
We found that the then administrator was negligent in her care for this lady.
Arrested in the same week, Ramley Romero, who police say took over her position as administrator. Florida's Agency for Home Care Administration concluded there was an immediate serious danger to the public health, safety, or welfare at the facility, and that present conditions present a threat to the health of residents. They've since placed a moratorium on admissions. Chief Stroh spoke with Hurst's daughter, who says she's glad to have some answers.
She had been wondering, I think in the back of her mind, what really happened.
And Sudal is being held in Orange County and will be brought to the Levy County Jail with a $75,000 bond. I reached out to Good Samaritan today. A representative said they would be releasing a statement, but when I offered my contact information, they hung up on me. Reporting in the studio, Crystal Bailey, TV 20 News.
Time to check our weather situation around North Central Florida. It's as cold as it got overnight. It was just as warm today during the day.
We had a lot of sunshine out there earlier today, Alex.
It was a beautiful day out there. We warmed up over 30 degrees from 37 this morning to 69 for an afternoon high. So it was a gorgeous one. Temperatures still looking great. We're at 61 in Gainesville, Cross City, and in Ocala. Upper 50s a little farther to the north and west. Our dew points are on the more humid side. So this, of course, is going to be a platform for some fog. We're seeing a little bit more cloud cover out there today than the past few days, but still plenty of breaks of clear skies out there now that the sun has set. A little quick look at the rest of the week. We are looking great. A little bit cloudier tomorrow, temperatures in the 70s, and then a gorgeous weekend up ahead. Upper 60s for Saturday, then back to the 70s on Sunday with a little more cloud cover. So overall, I hope that you guys have plenty of outdoor plans in the forecast because the forecast is looking great weather-wise. We'll take a look at the extended forecast in a few minutes.
Levy County Sheriff's deputies say a suspect has been arrested for a shooting at a restaurant. Deputies say Anthony Vessel shot two people at the Melvin Analysis restaurant on November 24th. Investigators found him on Monday in Broward County and took him into custody there.
This is an area that is a little bit on the heavier side for Levy County. We do have a lot of activity in that area, and we have had instances there that have occurred in the past.
One of the victims has been discharged from the hospital, but the other remains in critical condition. Vessels is currently charged with attempted murder, but he'll be held at the Levy County Detention Facility on a $4 million bond.
State troopers say a body was found inside an SUV submerged in a pond this morning. The car's wheels were sticking out from the road on County Road 231 north of Gainesville. Now they're trying to identify who was actually driving the SUV. Alachua County deputies say they got the call around 7:30 this morning. They believe the white SUV was going southbound on 231 and somehow veered into the water off the road. State troopers and fire rescue also were on the scene.
We assisted them with traffic control, and they also requested our dive team to go out and check the vehicle. Unfortunately, they did locate someone inside.
FHP troopers are still investigating, and they won't release the identity of the person until next of kin is notified. In Levy County tonight, deputies say an abandoned pickup truck was found submerged in the water at the Waukesasa boat ramp in Inglis early this morning. As you can see in this home video, crews were able to tow the Chevy Silverado out of the river. No bodies were found and no foul play is suspected. The owner was contacted and said he didn't know how his truck ended up in the water. Levy County Sheriff's deputies are investigating how it got there. And the Suwannee County deputies have convicted a felon from Wellborn behind bars. He's accused of selling drugs from his home. Deputies searched Eugene Highland's home and found meth, cocaine, and other drug paraphernalia. They also say they found $550 in cash and ammunition. He faces various drug-related charges and tonight is in the Suwannee County Jail.
From the Heart Ministry had an extra gift for anyone who attended the mobile pantry today. Volunteers collected gift cards from restaurants from around the area to hand out as holiday gifts. Bread of the Mighty Food Bank provided bags of food and sweets for everyone to bring home. They serve around 200 people every month.
This area is one of the poorest areas I've ever lived in. There's a lot of elderly that live on fixed income. Food is rising in the cost.
The mobile pantry is open every second Thursday of the month.
If you see Ocala police coming your way, it might be a good thing. They're getting into the Christmas spirit a little early this year by giving out special gifts to people around town.
TV 20's Curtis Jennings spoke to those special officers who say there's no harm in giving too much.
From some anonymous donors in the Ocala Police Department, we've got a little gift for you. Yes, ma'am.
No way.
Of course.
Christmas came early for dozens of people in Ocala.
Thank you so much.
Here from you. Of course you can.
Thank you so much.
This person, along with many others, received $100. That's right, 100 big ones from Ocala police officers to spend any way they like.
For you.
Well, thank you. Give it back to the lady.
Oh, no. That's for you.
In November, the department raised $4,200 through donations. And with the holidays here, they're throwing on their Santa gear and putting some smiles back on some faces by giving those donations back to the people.
We like our focus to be on the citizens. It's not really about us as a police department. We're here for the citizens, and so this was a really unique way for us to really put that out there.
Officers say they got the Operation Secret Santa idea from a YouTube video, and citizens say it's the officers that should be receiving the gifts, with some even trying to hand the money right back.
You're protecting me. Oh, no, I can't take that.
Officers say they're glad to see people still believe in paying it forward.
Let them have a positive interaction that has nothing to do with any criminal activity and is entirely a joyful experience for them to share.
So if you see the boys in blue heading your way, don't worry. There's nothing sinister about their grins.
Is this a joke? I'm being pumped, right?
You might just be the next lucky person. Reporting in Ocala, Curtis Jennings, TV 20 News.
Coming up next, nearly 30 years later, a woman has been found guilty of killing her child.
We'll have details when the TV 20 News at 6 returns. We are covering the state tonight. A jury has found a woman accused of killing her baby in 1990 guilty.
Joe Rhodes reports Ana Maria Cardona was found guilty on 2 charges, one first-degree murder and the other aggravated child abuse.
An emotional outburst in Miami-Dade court. Ana Maria Cardona reacting moments after learning her fate. Just 4 hours after closing arguments, jurors reaching a verdict in the murder trial of her young son.
We, the jury in Miami-Dade County, Florida, find the defendant Ana Maria Cardona as to count 1 first-degree murder, guilty of first-degree murder. As to count 2 aggravated child abuse, guilty of aggravated child abuse.
Your actions were monstrous. My mind recoils at the hellish existence you put Lazaro through that last year of his life.
Her son's battered and bloodied body was discovered in the bushes of a Miami Beach home in November of 1990. Detectives first called Lazaro Figueroa Baby Lollipops because of the design on his T-shirt. They didn't know who he was. This was Cardona's 3rd murder trial. She was sentenced to death twice for her alleged role in the little boy's death, but both convictions were overturned. She remained silent in previous trials, but took the stand this time, then bursting out after the judge handed down her sentence. Cardona adamantly denying she killed her son, telling the judge no one knows what she has been through. Cardona blames her former lover, Olivia Gonzalez, for the murder, and so does her defense attorney.
Even if she was abusing Lazaro herself, the killing of Lazaro was the independent act of Olivia, not Anna.
Gonzalez took a plea deal for her role in the child's death, served time in jail, and now is free. Cardona previously said the boy's death was an accident, claiming he hit his head after falling from a bed and she dumped his body. Family keeping quiet as they left the courthouse Wednesday night.
Back here in North Central Florida, we are enjoying increasingly better weather as we head towards the weekend.
We had a couple of clouds out there today, Alex.
Yeah, and there are some more clouds on the way as you head into your Friday, but the most important part of the forecast is the weekend, because that's when a lot of people have their outdoor activities planned, and there's some good news right after the break, along with the answer to your forecast fact. They're looking good.
What's that? Okay. Okay.
Well, it was a cold start to the day, but the afternoon made up for it. We warmed up to the 60s, 69 for an afternoon high, the average 68. So this is certainly not out of the norm by any means for the middle of December, but it was very much a surprise compared to how much cold we have been seeing over the last couple of days. Mix of clouds out there for your forecast on Friday, spotty shower or two, so a little bit of a cloudier look than today, but then clearer and cooler for the first start of the weekend. And beyond that, much warmer and more humid air is in the forecast for the early parts of next week. Speaking of the cloud cover, here's how it looked across the last 12 hours. We saw a mix of clouds, mostly upper level, which means that there wasn't a lot of moisture associated with them, and they were also very thin, which allowed the sun to come in and warm up temperatures very nicely. Even this evening, with the sun having set, we're still in the 60s in Gainesville, Ocala, Cross City, Cedar Key, all 61 degrees, upper 50s to mid 50s, a little bit farther to the north and west. But the bigger picture is more moisture, more humidity and heat into our area ahead of this cold front. So another day in the 70s tomorrow, but also a little bit more cloud cover. So if you just follow the path, you can see plenty of clouds right in the front of this cold front. Beyond the cold front, we're seeing some cooler temperatures, but nothing significantly cold. I mean, the difference is between 51 in Atlanta to 42 in Memphis. That's not too bad for these parts of the southeast. The really cold temperatures are up along the northeast, but this is not going to be moving into our area. We're going to be seeing it kind of linger further to the north along the Great Lakes and the northeast. So you can see that in your future cast. The reason why is because as this cold front moves on through, which is going to be bringing a little bit of cloud cover, a little bit of potential rainfall chances on Friday, but very much on the spotty side, then this area of high pressure comes in. So the cold that's up in the Great Lakes and the Northeast, it stays there because of the direction of the wind, which is not going to be too severe. So we're going to be seeing a little bit cooler temperatures on Saturday, but the real difference is just going to be the clearer skies. Beyond that, you can see this area of low pressure starting to develop out along the coast of Texas. That's going to continue to push its way up farther north. So we're going to have a little more moisture and a little bit more warmth as we head into early next week. So overall, it's not looking like a bad look out there. 47 overnight tonight, mainly cloudy with some patchy morning fog because of the calm winds and the increased moisture. By tomorrow, we're back into the 70s, a mix of clouds, but it's not going to be high in the form of rain chances. We're still looking at a relatively dry day. Cedar Key and St. Augustine look very nice for the boaters out there. Just going to watch out for a spotty shower, but again, not going to be a major issue. And into the first parts of the weekend, absolutely gorgeous. Go out and enjoy it from the upper 60s on Saturday to the mid 70s on Sunday, and then the upper 70s to near 80 to start off next week. Hanukkah ends on Wednesday, and as you can see, great weather for that holiday. Things are looking really nice. Now, frost has been an issue across the area over the last couple of days. So the question for tonight is, when is the average first frost in Gainesville? The answer is early December. So that's the average, which means sometimes it happens before that, sometimes it happens much after that. And a lot of us, pretty all of us, actually experienced frost over the last couple of days.
Especially the plants. They really experienced it.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and they didn't enjoy it.
Thanks. Well, coming up next, we're in the final hours before the Final Four action for Gator volleyball.
Our TV20 Sports team has the latest from Kansas City.
That's right, guys. It's almost game time, and at this point, it's go big or go home. Stanford versus Florida, champion versus contender. It's a matchup more than worthy of the Final Four. We'll tell you why when we come back. Sit back and enjoy. Sports is next.
I sure can.
we're almost there. The moment we've all been waiting for this week, and a game that Gator volleyball must win to keep their title hopes alive. It's going down tonight at the Sprint Center in Kansas City, and TV20 Sports Director Ian Preston is going to join us now live from the arena with the latest. There is a slight time difference between us and him, though. So my man, Ian, what time is it?
Gator Nation, it's time to get excited. We are less than a few hours away from the Gators, going to try to take down Goliath, aka Stanford, for a shot at a national championship on Saturday. Really, at this point, what else can we say about the Gators? I will say this, though, even if you're just a casual sports fan, you might want to stay up a little late tonight and check out this team in action. They're an exciting bunch that plays every game, every point, as if it's their last. And hey, if you're looking for a good underdog story, well, you got one here. Of the 4 remaining teams, Florida, of course, the only ones without a national championship. As for the other 3, how about this for a stat? They have a combined 18 national titles, almost half of the championships in the sport. And even though history may not be on the Gators' side, this team doesn't care about that one bit. They've proven all season they belong here on the sport's biggest stage, and they're ready to show that Kansas City is now Gator country.
All along, this team has had huge goals, and we weren't afraid of saying early in the season, last January, when we started working for this moment, that this was where we wanted to be this weekend. So all along, this has been something that we've talked about openly, and wanting to work all season for this weekend right here that we're at right now.
Using those past years as like kind of a stepping stone to get to where we are, we know, we've been to the Elite Eight and we've lost in the Elite Eight twice, and just figuring out a way, what it is that we have to do and how we go about it. And I think that we, losing last year in the second round kind of something that sparked us, and we just being so dedicated as an entire team. Yeah, sure, we're the seniors on the team, but we couldn't have done everything that we did without our underclassmen. They came into our program and bought in and wanted to be here and wanted to do what we did. And it's a testament to them and how, we managed to get here.
Some more good news for the Gators. Head coach Mary Wise today named the AVCA Coach of the Year. This is actually the 3rd time she's won the Coach of the Year award, the last 2 coming in 1992 and 96. She actually joins Penn State coach Russ Rose as the only 3-time winner of the award. However, I bet if you were to ask Coach Wise, she'd trade all 3 of those awards for just 2 more wins. We'll see if they can get at least one later tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Of course, we'll have the highlights later tonight on TV20 at 11. Until then, reporting live here in Kansas City in the Sprint Center, Ian Preston, TV20 Sports.
Thank you, Ian. Nice job. And by the way, we got a chance to catch up with 22nd ranked Gator basketball today. Haven't heard from them since they got it done on the road against then 17th ranked Cincinnati. Florida was ranked 5th at the time, but 3 straight losses prior can be a real buzzkill. The Gators say it was a big win for them internally, at least, and from the outside looking in, hopefully a much-needed boost to their confidence. The Gators shot much better than what they did against Loyola, going from 38% from the field and 19% from 3 to 42% overall and 40% from deep. They also showed some late-game toughness and defensive urgency to get the win. Always highly critical of his team, head coach Mike White says he saw flashes of improvement, but not to the level of his expectations.
I think our guys felt really good about themselves. I think there was a certain level of pride that we won ugly and against a hard-nosed program. But we weren't great offensively, but we were the best we've been defensively. But we hadn't been great the last couple days in practice, so we're not as hungry as we should be.
It was big. It was big because you guys know, it's no secret. Last week has been pretty rough for us, and that was the 3rd game that week. It wasn't we didn't feel like it was a must-win, but at the same time there was a sense of urgency for us that we got to step up and do something different than we've done from the past 2 games that we lost. So it was important.
The Gators will be back in action in Sunrise, Florida on Saturday, December 16th for their Orange Bowl Classic against the Clemson Tigers. And it's been a long time coming for this Final Four, but from what I've seen so far this season, my money's on the Gators.
And Mary Wise trying to win her first title. It's about time, isn't it?
First title for her and first title for any female coach in the sport.
That one looking
it's amazing,
to that.
Right?
Yes, it is. It really is. Thanks, Elgin.
Back in a moment.
Welcome back. New York City is gearing up for its famous New Year's Eve ball drop in Times Square. The numbers 1 and 8 for 2018, as they would tell you, I guess, on Sesame Street, arrived on a flatbed truck yesterday.
7-foot-tall numbers are on display at the crossroads of the world, waiting to be hoisted into place atop One Times Square for the New Year's Eve festivities. You're from New York. Have you been there before for the New York?
I've never been there for the ball drop. I've been outside of Times Square, avoiding it at all costs. But I'm sure if you can actually get in and, you know, not have to use the bathroom, then probably all great.
Just don't drop the ball, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Also, that sign would be a great 18th birthday celebration sign. So get there while you can, I guess, before they put it on top. Let's take a look at the forecast. 47 overnight tonight, mainly cloudy with some patchy morning fog. A gorgeous weekend up ahead. A little on the chilly side on Saturday into the 60s, but then we warm up really nicely for early next week. Back into the 70s, even upper 70s for Monday and Tuesday. I, for one, am looking very forward to not needing a jacket.
I think one word to describe that, and it would be wow.
Wow, indeed.
Thanks for joining us.
ABC's up next. We're back here at 11. We'll see you then.
Good night.